here's my plan on how I am going to make a holiday snowman on a slimline pin kit. I've got quilted maple here that I'm going to use for the body. I have African blackwood here that I'm going to use for the hat. I have twice casted resin that I'm going to use for the grip section. And then I've got a 7mm drill bit that the slimline kit calls for. And the plan is to measure out the hat, measure out the body, and only put that on the top part of this. Let's see how it goes. I went ahead and marked the blanks. How I marked the blanks is I measured the brass tube, and it's about 52 millimeters. And then I divided that by 4 because I wanted to do a 3-ball snowman, and then I wanted to have another section for the hat. So the hat is marked at 14 millimeters and the body is marked at 45. And then the other is I just matched up a brass tube with the blank itself and then give myself a little extra. For this one, I'm going to cut this part out so I don't have to worry about that because I don't think that that would look as good. The bandsaw didn't want to cut it nice and perfectly straight, so I've got it chucked up here in the 4-jaw chuck. I'm going to take my square carbide cutter, and I'm going to just get this surface flat, and I'm going to do the same on the other piece. That way I can have a good flat connection point when I glue these together. One down. There we go. Got it figured out. The corners are kind of throwing me off because they're tapered down just a little bit, but it's flush on the flat surfaces. I think next time I'm going to turn them into cylinders before I glue them up. But we used some CA glue. All I really need to do is hold it together for drilling. And we want to make sure that everything goes together. I've got my 7mm drill bit. And I've got this lined up as best as I can. I'm just finding the midline with my eye. And I am looking at the corners. And when I see the corners matching up, every time I flip that, that's kind of my gauge of how it is lined up as best as possible. So for drilling, I'm going to drill at about 700 RPM. The African blackwood is a much harder wood than the quilted maple, which is stabilized, but the African blackwood is very hard. Got my tubes all scuffed. Now it's just see where I'm going to put this. Just a slight recess there because the back end needs to be cut away. And then for this, I'm going to go quite a bit into the African blackwood here because I don't want the hat to be too tall. I'm going to bury it as decently into the hat there. And I've got plenty of room on the bottom side of the quilted maple. So that's the plan. That'll do. Got my 7mm barrel trimmer ready to rock and roll. Here we are on the mandrel saver, all mounted up. Hopefully this goes as planned. Whew! Awesome! No explosions, no problems. Next step is to sand and polish. Be dry sanding the Snowman, wet sanding the resin, and I will be back once that is all done. All right, now we got it. So we got this nice and sanded and polished, and this all nice and sanded and polished. So it's time to take it over to the other bench.